Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I am talking about the apology you will never get. The apology you will never get. And for those of you all who at times feel like people are going to sooner or later apologize or come around or act as if everything is okay, well, for some folks, that's not going to happen. So you might as well face the facts and move on. I know some people will say, well, you know what? I am not going to let this person into my home, into my circle, or anything else until they bring me an apology. Those that are quite demanding about this sort of thing will not look at what they have done or haven't done to bridge the gap in a situation. Rather, they are hoping that others will do their part to make them feel good about whatever the situation was, or to make them feel good about themselves. A lot of times people are after an apology, not because they really want the person to be better or to do anything different to make wrongs right, to come up higher. It has nothing to do with that. It's about making the individual who has been offended feel good about his or herself. So for some people, they are after the apology because they want to feel good. They want to feel empowered. They want to feel like, once again, I'm right. I have the upper hand. What your personal issues are or your journey in terms of being a better person, they could care less. They could care less about who you know, where you're going in life. All they want is to feel like they are stronger, are better, are righteous. And when you don't feed that with your coming to them with your tail between your legs, so to speak, then you're no good to me. You're not apologizing. You're not flattering me. You're not giving me anything. So what good are you? Many people have their relationships built on that sort of thing. Their family relationships, their workplace connections, their business associations are based on what can you provide for me. So if we get into a dispute, one of the best ways to think about where you fall on this whole spectrum of apologies and feeling good about yourself is, are you willing to talk? Are you willing to compromise? Are you willing to step out of the box, or are you waiting on an apology? If you're on that other side of the spectrum where it's all about you, then you pretty much know where you stand when it comes to people. Your relationships, your connections, and everything associated is about what they can do for you. And when they don't provide, when they don't give, when, you have to step up to the plate and do something, well, you say, what's the sense? What's the sense in connecting with these people? What's the sense in being bothered with them or doing anything for them? Because they're not doing for me, right? Those who are believers, those who have been reading the scriptures, those who have been praying, Holy Ghost filled and so forth, you know that God does not endorse relationships like that. God does not support relationships like that. He will tell you that you are selfish if you spend some time with him. He will tell you that you are more concerned about what people are going to do for you. And you know that Jesus wasn't about what people could do for him. He was about serving the people. A Christian serves. A Christian will move as God leads to do some things to better humanity, and in the process, he or she is bettering herself or himself. Okay? I have a book called Tell Me, Mother, You're Sorry. And when I wrote this book, I already knew that it wasn't the type of book where I was going to tell everybody, okay, this is what I want for my mother. I already knew that that is not what the book was about, even though those who are close to me would make all sorts of assumptions. But when I wrote Tell Me Mother You're Sorry, I was writing it while thinking about two women that was around me and their relationship with one another, or lack thereof, over time. The book really was not about me, because at the time I was very much dealing with all my family members and was talking quite much to many of them. So when I created Tell Me Mother You're Sorry, I was thinking about all those folks who want apologies, but they're never going to get them. And it doesn't mean that there's a right or wrong in the situation. It just happens. People are going to leave this planet or move on with their lives, and they're not going to apologize for things. And if you are big when it comes to apologies, then of course you're going to let go of them because you demand an apology. Those are the things that you expect: people to apologize, people to come around and make amends. You expect people to do for you or what have you. And when that doesn't come, then you have a choice of either continuing on in a connection with them or discontinuing it. And some people will discontinue a connection for the slightest infraction. And as far as I'm concerned, those are not genuine friends. Those are not people who I would consider good advisors either, because they're the type that the minute they're offended, they're ready to say goodbye. This is it. We have those times where, yes, you've got to disconnect from some folks. I am a strong advocate of that sort of thing. Let's get rid of toxic people, toxic places, toxic things, anything that is going to distract us or dissuade us from kingdom business and what God has for our lives. Okay? But there comes a point too where you're not going to cut off everyone, and that some people are going to be proactive in your life for a season. And so you are to welcome those folks, because they just might be the bridge to get you from point A to point B in whatever it is that you have been praying to the Lord about, and of course whatever his will is for you. And so maybe apology does have to take place, or maybe there has to be some type of meeting, or there may have to be some type of exchange of information, or one last connection. Okay, maybe. But sometimes that never comes, because people die, people become sickly, people become very busy, people forget folks, people have all sorts of things that take place with them. And like I said, are we going to hold those people to that apology that we will never get? No, life goes on. Now, the enemy would love for you to dwell on that sort of thing. The enemy would love for you to focus on the fact that your mother or your father or your sister or your brother or your cousin or somebody at work has yet to apologize. Because see, what it does is it keeps your mind bound to the situation, bound to the person, and therefore you are not experiencing any type of freedom, no type of mental, physical, or spiritual release whatsoever. So if I'm constantly thinking about the offense, then what I am doing is affecting a connection with this person. I am also affecting what they could possibly be used to provide me. Remember, enemies can be your footstool. And if God is setting it up for your enemy to be of service to you, would you want to block your potential blessings by harping on the fact that they have yet to apologize? You see, that sort of stuff is secular, it's worldly, and it is something that man or woman came up with to make their ego just a little bit more inflated than it already is. We don't wait around for apologies. We got work to do. We're not sitting back and thinking about all of the things that people have done to hurt us. Instead, what we do is we take the lemons of life that we have been given and we turn them around and we make lemonade out of them. We take the things that we go through and we ask the Lord to lead us in the direction that He wants us to be in. And along the way, we teach, we preach, we share the gospel, we offer service. Petty people are sitting around twiddling their thumbs. Petty people are going to the Lord on a daily basis, demanding that the Lord move on people's spirits to give folks an apology. Petty people are more concerned about frivolous things and less concerned about the bigger picture when it comes to kingdom business. God will set things up where people may not ever apologize to you and you may be highly offended, but at the same time, that just might have been their exit to get out of your life. If you are the offender, or if you are the troublemaker, or if you can't seem to get your stuff together, then God will set up different situations so that that person does not have to deal with you anymore. And so if an apology is big on your list, well, you just gave them an exit out of your life. And they most likely are praising the Lord and thanking Him every day that you are that petty person that can't seem to get over yourself, and that they don't have to deal with you anymore. Of course, not thanking God for, the negatives and so forth, but just thanking God for the exit. I wanted to make sure that I'm clear on that. We don't want to be that one that folks don't want to deal with, but sometimes that happens. But do we wallow in that? Do we wallow in our weaknesses? No, through our weaknesses, we become strong. We look at what we need to work on and we do better. And then we end up being a blessing to others. And that person who may not want to reconnect with us and does not want to see the change in us, well, we're not going to spend too much time grieving over that person, because the Lord will give and He will take away. And if He took away that person, you best believe there's going to be some other folks that'll come into your life. But you've got to watch and you've got to be open to receiving love. A lot of times when we're offended by people and we don't like things that have taken place and we're caught up in the pettiness of demanding an apology, we miss out on the quality folks that are destined to come and speak wisdom to us, to marry us, to take care of us, to love us, to appreciate us, and to do any number of things. And we don't even have to be that demanding person that, wants all of these things. We may not even communicate all of what we want. It's just God puts the right person at the right time in our lives. So if there is that one, though, that does come and apologizes for any number of things, we are to receive that. Thank you very much. Even if we don't feel like they're being genuine, thank you very much. Thank you for, stepping outside of your box and coming along and telling me all of these good things and, uplifting me and encouraging me today. I really appreciate that. But is the apology, the license, the key to opening up a relationship once again? Doesn't have to be, especially when this person has a pattern of hurting you. And there are those loved ones who have a pattern of doing just that. Some mean to and some don't. We can say thank you and we can keep it moving. We don't need to break bread with folks just because they apologize. And we got some, unfortunately, weak-minded Christians who, anybody who says anything flattering to them, they're ready to break bread with them. They're ready to marry their children off to these folks. They're ready to just open their hearts, their minds, and everything else up to these people. Remember, there is still children of darkness who come as wolves in sheep's clothing. And every apology is not a good one. And every apology is not meant to uplift people. Some apologies are meant just to get you to open up the door. The person comes in and then kills, steals, and destroys everything. And there are those individuals who I'm sure could share some stories, leave some comments about how they opened up the door to some folks that they knew they shouldn't have, and then they came in and hurt them far more than they hurt them before. And we have those people who are waiting around for that opportunity for maybe you to come in to their lives and apologize, wish them well, and all that good stuff. And then they say, come on in, and then they want to pay you back for all the times that you offended them. So I thank you so much, as always, for taking the time out to listen. Please do check the description box for anything related to your situation. And as always, to God be the glory.